Yeah.
Yeah.
Go, Alexander.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to all the new and old nurture users joining from different parts of the world. Thank you for being with us today. I'm Women Grandmaster Alexander Dimitrievich from Serbia, and I will be moderating today's session. We welcome Grandmaster Boris onto the Nurture platform once again with his camp initiatives with help of surprising moves. For those new to the platform, let us learn something about the life and chess journey of Grandmaster Boris Avroch. Boris became Grandmaster in 1997 at the age of 21. He has won World Under 12 Championship, the Israeli Chess Championship twice, and participated in Chess Olympiad 6 times. He has also trained with some of the best players in the world like Grandmaster Rajabov, Grandmaster Kramnik, Grandmaster Caruana, Grandmaster Wesley Soap, Grandmaster Boris Gelfand, and many more. Boris is universally recognized as one of the foremost opening theoreticians of the modern era. He's the world's leading expert on D4 and has authored some of the classics. Please use chat box for the answerings. Use question and answer box to ask questions. Also, avoid spamming the chat and avoid repeating the questions. As mentioned in our note placed on the website, we are adding functionality and content. Please bear with us. You will be able to enjoy the chess content from the masters as before very soon. Welcome, Boris, and how are you? And please
Thank you, Alexandra. Doing good as well. Looking forward to our session.
Yes.
So I can start, right?
Yes, please.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, guys. Welcome again. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. How are you doing? I hope everything is okay. Well, today, very interesting lecture, very interesting lesson. I wanted to talk about, I would say, importance of surprising moves, like in order to take over, to develop the initiative. Guys, the goal of this lecture is like to kind of like encourage you to check, like, you know, for surprising moves, for more ideas, trying to find hidden resources, right? Maybe in many cases, you will see how, let's put it this way, you know, like you have two choices, right? One is normal, and another one is kind of like changes the course of the game. And maybe it's worth trying because it's potentially can throw your opponent out of, like, you know, normal situation, right? Like he's like, you know, oh, well, that's positional game, we're gonna play, right? And suddenly you start something unusual, and it's suddenly he needs to totally changes the character of the game, and he needs to change his mindset. Oh, well, he sacrificed the pawn and now I need to defend, right? And it's hard. Maybe like he's thinking, oh, well, I just have slightly better position, it's positional, I bring the rooks now, put the pressure, and now suddenly he needs to defend, right? And it's there is this psychological element, especially I think, like, of course, obviously grandmasters, they're more experienced, they react much better, but especially guys on at your level, I think it might be like very nice idea, right? Now it's also depends here, guys. Like with this lecture, I want to say that it doesn't mean that you should go crazy, guys, right? It doesn't mean that you should go crazy, but there are just some ideas. They are in some sense thematic. You know, grandmasters played, or like, of course, if you have a knowledge, maybe some theoretical lines and so on, right? So it's, of course, it doesn't mean in every position you should like look for some hidden resources and then play something crazy. Of course not, but keep in mind that those moves potentially exist, right? And kind of like push yourself to find something unusual. Like if you have this, like, sense that there is something there, Okay, guys. So I wanted to take you through different examples, right? For different examples, most of them from the recent games, Now, so here we have the position from it's actually not nowadays. I don't know, guys, if you know the theory of this variation. I suspect no. That would be better for our class. But guys, so here's the position, right? It's a Catalan variation. It's actually a very, very recent game played by Indian prodigy Gukesh against Kartik. So one of the tournaments. I know there are like some tournaments in a row. Like I don't know which one it was, like New Delhi one. I think New Delhi. It's like I noticed. And you have this position. What do you think? What do you think here? It's well known, right? It's kind of like well-known idea, maybe for some of you, but it's by the way, in modern chess, those kind of ideas, especially with the computers, they quite often played, right? They quite often can be learned, like from the theory. So what do you think in this position, guys? How you would react? Oh, it's actually my apologies. I didn't play. It's a white to move. It's knight c3. The most logical move. So what to do? Now, what you would do? I mean, it doesn't mean like you need to go crazy, right? I hope the text is working, because so far nobody responded and only one guy said hello. Yeah, we'll see now. Guys, try to send some, like in any case, if you're not sure, try to suggest some move. Okay, so it's working. Great, thanks. You saw the game. Okay. So do you remember specific? Okay, good. So guys, I mean, I think like I actually noticed like there was one player he knows, and I think we got already like more or less like there have been 4 answers, like 5, 6, but I got like all natural moves here in this position. So there was suggested bishop a6, right? Bishop a6, bishop e6. I mean, they're all very natural. Rook e8, right? Stop c4. It's not that I want e4 right now, surrender. I mean, white idea is just, to put the rooks, have knight a4 at some point, right? Rook c1, rook d1, depends, like maybe a3 potentially, right? Like anytime. And the idea obviously to start pressuring this, like I don't know whether we call it hanging pawns or c6 d5 pawn structure, right? So that's the plan. And in general, the position looks like, a4, interesting. Knight a4, rook a4. Interesting idea. I think like though, like a4, I might go a3 and you'll have to give up the bishop, which is probably not good, right? But interesting idea, Dakshin. So, so it's your second answer already, guys, right? Now, but there is something like guys, if you check, I don't think it's even objectively like will be, oh, well, that's the best move. I don't think so. I don't think it's better than any other moves. But so Srinivas attended the game, like was during the tournament now, and somebody mentioned this. Julem mentioned at some point, and Dakshin was his first choice. He played h5, guys, and importance of kind of like throwing away from like just this kind of scenario where white is, oh, well, that's great. I have a safe position, brings the rook, knight a4, pressure, like, very nice. And now suddenly h5, like what to do, right? Now, well, I don't want to play h4, right? Because it gives up g4 square. Now h3 could be h4, the diagonal and stuff, right? Like weakening. Why not bishop a6? I mean, bishop a6, rook d1, what next, right? I mean, I just follow the plan. It's not like something extraordinary happens, right? Like, guys, bishop a6, rook d1, what next? Is there any specific idea here? I don't think so, right? How you prevent my just like my plan of like rook c1, knight a4, right? Yeah, so but here h5, there are like you know, you have this position for white. You are not planning to solve problems here, right? You are just like next time it's like what to play, rook d1, rook c1, a3, like nice, you know, nice choice. Here suddenly, like, you know, so he decided, and I think it's probably, I would say in accuracy, probably a3 was the best move here. A3 was the best move, and white is not worse. I think even slightly better. But that would be precise move. But he's like, oh, well, why I need a3, right? So he goes knight a4. He goes knight a4. And guys, what do you think, like, for the queen position? What do you like? What do you like for the queen position? c7. Okay, c7, one version. So everyone likes c7 so far. So far, everyone prefers c7, but I'm like, Srinivas likes d8, a7. Interesting. Look, a7 looks strange, like, to be honest. Surrender, like, kind of like a little bit far away. Guys, but if you think about the fact that actually queen b5, by the way, quite interesting. Guys, queen b5, quite interesting. He played to d8 because it appears like I like this because, guys, the pawn is not hanging tactically. Tactically, it's protected, right? There is bishop d7, right? So, for instance, if you do this, first you take bishop d7, knight. So you don't need to protect the pawn, right? And queen c7, and then later you will get queen c7. Later it runs into rook c1, right? So, like, I don't like the position of the queen. After queen d8, yeah, that was the moment where I think white should have done something like either h3 or h4, but he's like, you know, understandably continued with this move, right? So he's like, you know, why we have fianchetto? Because it's safe, right? Like, so why to react? Why to weaken? H4 came, right? So that was the plan, and he took and played b3, right? So now I understand how white player who is like probably grandmaster, I don't know, like Kartik, you know, rating 2500. So he probably thinking, okay, now I'm attacking c6. He's protecting anyway, like knight c5 coming. Seems like white enjoying pleasant position, right? And now, guys, what do you think? Like, I'll ask you kind of like with a hint. What do you think? Like, your decision on the king side with the pawn h, what you do there? Yeah, guys, it's appeared that in this position you're right. Like, h3 was very strong. H3 was very strong, right? It's always a choice. Julem offered, I think, a more kind of like thematic idea to play, to take, and then to go knight g4 one day, and then trying to bring the queen to h5, right? So that's also interesting. And for some reason after that, like, pawn still untouchable. You know, like, it's even tactically works. This, and somehow queen c6. I noticed rook a6 is very strong, kind of like surprising. But you know, I don't need to take. So this is one idea. But here it's objectively about equal, because you know, even if you get queen f6, h6, h2, king f1, it's still, I mean, yeah, there is bishop a6, but I'll have knight c5, so it's not clear. But it's a thematic idea. Now somehow, I don't know, like for me it was surprising, but I checked very briefly, like according to computer, this is better for black. Like that's very strange. Very strange. It appears like, but okay, maybe. So then the rook also brings, the rook also participates in the attack. So it's very nice, you know, interesting. But guys, he played h3. He played h3. It's objectively stronger. It's objectively stronger. Bishop h1. And now, excellent move, guys. Excellent move. So you don't want to. Well, okay. Let's see. I mean, it's a hard idea, like, to be honest, but let's try. So what to do with the pawn on c6? Bishop d7, Srinivas d4, like, I mean, I don't know, like you need to show what is going on here with the sacrifice. I'm not sure what is happening there, right? Yeah. Rook a6, also like knight allows knight c5, bishop Julam, yeah, bishop d7. So this is the approach, guys. Like Julam said, like bishop d7, knight c5, I don't like. It's not even like the bishop is bad, but it's like time, right? It seems like we allow white time. Correct? Now, is there anything like original that potentially can be played here? Rook a6 also allows knight c5, right? Bishop d7, knight c5, rook c8. Well, yeah, I mean, possible. But like white can anytime take on d7. It's like, and so on. Target b4, queen d2, knight g4. Is it working knight g4? Like if I take, what is about sacrifices? Guys, in fact, what did he play? Fantastic move. It's a, maybe he even analyzed this position. I don't know. But he played rook b8. He played rook b8. So he doesn't want like to protect the pawn, right? Like because we potentially need the bishop on this diagonal. It would be very powerful. And now the idea, like knight g4, queen f6. For some reason, like Julam, you asked knight g4 in this position. It's probably, it's not supposed to work, but I don't know. Queen c6, knight g4. I'm sorry, knight g4 here, like the same like previous example, right? Like these days. Yeah, here for instance, yeah, I'm not even sure what to do with the queen here, right? Seems like also kind of like interesting idea, but it's, I don't know, it doesn't look that clear to me. Like I don't know, should I take? Yes, rook f6, should I take? Let's say here, right? How dangerous it is. I mean, I don't know. Here, right? Maybe I have now like, if queen g6, maybe rook c6 to trade. Yeah, it's, well, this is very risky, right? Guys, this is very risky. Yeah, but okay, guys, so it's actually also working. Yeah, I'm checking computer, so it appears, okay, that's important nuance, guys. If somebody would tell me that, well, actually this move is not possible because this is winning with idea rook d2, it's suddenly like Russian attack. I checked with the computer like really quick. Yeah, so if you tell me that second pawn is not will be not captured. Well, that's another reason. Yeah, but there is this and here, and I don't know, there is some compensation. Computer says black is totally fine, but I mean, strange. Anyway, guys, I want to wrap up with this game. Guys, I want to wrap up this game. Rook b8 was played. I like the move, it's nice. Now actually provoke queen c6, which shouldn't be played, but like how not to play, right? Now what's the idea after queen c6? Okay. So Srinivas was there, so it was not preparation. He took time. Yeah, it's also like it's already not theory for a long time. So like obviously, guys, what do you think? What's the idea here? Correct, Dakshin. Correct. No, bishop d7 to take on a4. No, that's why we played h3 to take on a4. Knight e4. I guess just slow a little bit. So there was a player like Srinivas knew, and there was a player Dakshin Arun. So he suggested like the idea, guys, why we got h3 in order to have this type of idea, you know. And surprisingly, it appeared to be very no Diksha, but I mean Srinivas was there, and he was taking a lot of time, Gukesh, right? So what is happening here, guys? I checked, couldn't believe my eyes, but okay. Dakshin also was there. Okay. So guys, the point is that yeah, bishop b7 taken on h1, weakening the king, attack. Now very important that queen c7, like the very first, when I saw this position, I'm like, what about queen c7? Can white just eliminate the queens? It appears that d3 we have this move, very important, right? And then taken on f2. Now you can eliminate the queens, but then it's a different story, because this endgame, right? This endgame is like knight g4, potentially we play rook d8, guys. And whatever we do, right? You don't forget that. Don't forget that all this play, and he's kind of like his pieces out. His pieces out, right? So that's a very, very important factor here. So that's why, like, for instance, this endgame, it's like, according to the computer, almost winning for black, like huge advantage, you know? That's why, right? So what happened in the game, he played this. Now there was d3. I mean, he also played d3. And basically, guys, he won. It's like not obvious. Like, you know, when I saw the position, I said like, okay, it's compensation, but it appears to be advantage, clear advantage for black. Now very nicely, like very nice game after that, you know. And guys, when you see like, oh well, pawn, what is the compensation, how strong d3, seems like white can handle d3 pawn. Don't forget about this knight on a4, and it stayed there, guys, like until the end of the game. Was very nicely like sacrifice second pawn. Yeah, also bishop on h1. Yeah, bishop on h1, to be honest, like it's also true. Very impressive, guys, very impressive. Queen c7 I like, no knight c5 in like nothing, right? Cut. Yeah, very nice tactics. Yeah, everything was great timing. Yeah, impressive. So if he takes, like we take on f2, we go rook e2 and queen c2, just we kind of like come to the second rank, right, guys? Like it's a, you know, like this, right? Like take, like rook e2, correct? King g1, and from what I understand, just queen c2. And then there is rook g2, queen f2 threat. So that's, and there is only one check on b8. That's it, you know, right? Very, very impressive game. Very impressive game. Guys, let me save. Now, now I wanted to show you this funny stuff also. One second here. Yeah, it's by the way, like you know, also another game from one of the Indian tournaments, you know, guys, one from the Indian tournaments, it's like Guwahati International. It's like probably the very recent one or something, you know. But guys, I'm always checking this webpage, Chess Base India. So when I see some good games, now there was this game, like very good players, you know, 20. So you probably know the names of the players. It's Sapar Shiroi Visak, right? So you know, I mean, they have this opening. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this opening for white, but people nowadays play this, right? People play, and I think it's all theory, G6 setup. So all this kind of like well-known, you know, this position, right? This position. So it's by the way played by Nepo. Nepo, like, I don't know, 5 times. I guess no, it's not really. Yeah, I was about to say like many years ago he played. And it's well, it's a strange opening for white, right, with this queen jumps and stuff, but you know, people play, right? So what do you expect in this position? What do you expect in this position for black? Now, so I want to talk about maybe like kind of like something unusual, right? But not crazy, guys, not crazy, right? That's important. I don't want somebody like just give up something for free. Black to move. Srinivas, D6. Absolutely normal. Second popular move. A5. Well, idea A4, right? A little bit time consuming, I would say, but I mean, there is this idea, I guess. It's I have seen this idea. A6, B5, slow, guys. This one is slow. Knight H5, I don't know. Yeah, B5. You know, I was thinking about B5, but it seems to me, I don't know. After Bishop B5, it's not like you can play Rook B8 right away because I take on C6, right? So then you have to do something with the knight. So like, I'm not sure, but there is idea like this. Yeah, there is. Well, guys, this is a very common stuff like this: B5, G4, H4 nowadays, right? So I don't have any single example about this, but you can see like now it's so popular, all these moves like with the pawns, like wing pawns, right? B5, G4, A4, you know, all this stuff. But so Rook 8. Okay, so guys, this is what I wanted to say. Like, well, you know, you see this position like D6, Rook 8, those top 2 choices theoretically, and I'm pretty sure black is doing not so bad there as well. Now, what he's doing, he's playing D5, right? He's playing D5, and but like probably if you saw this, you kind of like realize we cannot recapture back, right, guys? Do you see why? So knight D5 is not the move for us. There is bishop G5, so we are losing material, right, guys? So that's you know, some players, I would even say the majority, they would say like D5, E5. Well, I want D5. Yeah, that's like an idea, right? Of course, like in this type of pawn structure, it's like idea to carry out D5 break, major idea for black. I, by the way, always explain this. But now, like you check D5, like, oh well, D5, knight D5 not working, and the majority will give up, right? Now, so let's say, how about the situation if it's already played, and then maybe like you notice that you cannot do knight D5, like what you would play? Would black have a chip? We'll see, Julian. It's not clear. Knight D4. So yeah, obviously, guys, knight D4 and knight B4, right? I know both are strong. Both are strong. But in this specific game, knight B4 was played. Knight B4 was played. So now, like, Julep, we'll discuss. Yes, this one, and in general, d5 opens up our like the bishop, right? Like getting rid of e4 pawn and so on, right? So bishop c4 was played in this position, bishop c4, and maybe it's a big mistake, by the way. But I'm pretty sure that the people will play this move because, well, you keep d5 pawn again because of bishop g5 idea, right? So, guys, and of course, when you consider all this, you have to foresee what is happening here, right? To foresee what is happening here because, well, we can stay pawn down, right? I don't know, Srinivas. So Srinivas says like what you say, like b5 right now. Okay, yeah. This is, I agree with you. So what to do, guys? Bishop f5, guys. I think, like, you know, just, well, it's not obvious, but it seems like a good idea to insert this move, right? Bishop f5, targeting c2, forcing bishop b3, correct? But we need to justify, right? It's like one move and that's it. How to justify all this? Julem, yeah, you are right, but what's the first move? No. So already we have a couple of guys saying, guys, a5. b5, there is no threat. So that's what important. a5, there is a threat. What is the threat? The threat is a4, guys. Open the file, and if knight takes, we take knight a2. And we open the file, right? So it's remarkably, guys, like even a3, losing to a4. Losing to a4. How it's losing to a4? So we play this. I think, so let's see how it works. Like, so what if bishop a4? Who can tell me what is the winning idea after bishop a4? There are actually maybe not only one, maybe two winning ideas. Correct, Srinivas. That's correct. There is some similarity, absolutely. Danush, rook a4, knight a4, and yes, correct. So guys, this is the easiest idea. It's of course it's not obvious, but there is like a, if you feel this, like it's good, guys. But by the way, there is something like I noticed. Do not forget that we always have the jumps like with the knight. So I think this is also winning idea, like knight h5, then bishop takes c3, and then knight a2 intermediate, and then eventually we get this guy. So that's also working. But that's probably the easiest one, guys. Like rook a4. One second, guys. Rook a4, knight a4, knight a4, knight c2. So that's pretty obvious that this is not holdable, even though, like, of course, from human point of view, requires calculation, right? So the threat is like knight a4, queen d5, you know, bishop c3 runs into bishop h6 check nicely, you know. So it's a it's pretty like even intuitively you can feel it. So that means that a4 is a big threat. So obviously without a3 also we want a4, then knight a2 and stuff. So he played a4 naturally. Naturally a4 was played in the game, right? What now? Guys, I have one good answer. What's the idea knight h5? Guys, what's the idea knight h5? Let's say queen f3, what is there? Okay, guys, of course b5. Of course b5. But you know, you need to see what is happening. B5, very consistent. Like ab5, a4, I think that's pretty easy, right? ab5, if he takes like a4, and now for instance like knight a4, there is this funny, like when I was checking, there is this funny idea, like here it comes, and let's say if bishop takes rook a4, it's a file, right? A file decisive. Now king b1, we play knight e4. Now it's in my notes it's stopped, but I'm wondering what is winning here. There is some winning idea, but what is here? I think even we take knight d2 and then we play queen f6 actually, right? Queen f6, rook a4, bishop a4, queen f6. Yeah, something with b2. Yes, I think like you're right. Yes. Take queen f6. Yeah, I mean, I feel there is a catastrophe here, right? If queen protects knight f2. Fantastic. Yeah, so it's everything is coming, guys. It's already a lot of pieces. Plus we can add this knight e4 if necessary. Now I thought like the most interesting line is knight hb5. In this case, we play knight e4. And then, guys, who can see what is happening with queens? Well, actually f2 is hanging, right? But maybe, you know, if you take knight f2, I can have like at some point knight f3, some endgame will be not so bad. Guys, what is like kind of like another winning idea here? Queen f6 here, yeah, probably also good. I have a feeling that this also should be enough. I feel like it should be enough. Now, but one more funny tactical trick. Knight d3, correct, guys. Knight d3, another surprise. yeah, you know, it's suddenly like all these bishops are working towards the white king, right? So the crazy stuff. Now, like understandably, white rejected all this ab5, knight b5 played here, and now what happened? We just got a very attacking position. So now it's equal material, capture, and what happened? It's just like free attack, guys. That's basically the point. And now it's either queen f6 or queen b8 after bishop g5, queen b8 was played, and just it was very convincing win. It took some time, but it was basically free attack for black. Just step by step, developed, you know, b2, everything without even sacrificing the material. Was a nice win. It's like, you know, one-sided against strong player. And by the way, guys, now what was the biggest mistake? The biggest mistake was bishop c4, but many players will play this. Now, for instance, if white would say like, oh, well, bishop c4 is dangerous, and would just develop knight f3, and by doing this also bishop f5, preventing bishop f5 because now knight d4, that would maintain an equal position. But as I said, there is this effect of like throwing away, because he, like, you never know what is happening, right? Is it like justifiable d5, knight d4, knight h5? So then how it's protected? You're right. So what is happening there? So Srinivas mentioned that knight f3, bishop f5. So there is, after knight d4, there is knight h5. And queen e3, rook e8, right? Or like, yeah. So then how it's handled, this pawn? Maybe just like some bishop g5, something interesting. I was actually pretty sure that that's kind of like the solution, but oh yeah, I mean, that's difficult. So there is only one move. Like, I'm checking, it's queen h4. Queen h4 attacking the knight and then preparing bishop g5. And I'm not sure that knight c2, it will be stuck there actually, right? Probably bishop g5 will come. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, this one. It's not easy. Also, yeah, knight f3 was the move, like, to play anyway, but it was nice. It was nice. Okay, guys. Let me take you to something here. Yeah, so there is this recent game, Anish Giri against from actually one of these Grand Prix. Guys, I don't know, like, if you, maybe some of you watched the game, but probably you don't remember everything, like every move that was played. So they got this like gioco piano, like normal stuff, right? Normal stuff, like fashionable line. So it was actually very interesting. Yesterday I was showing to one of my students for totally different topic. But yeah, so it's, guys, let's not get to this like super trendy. Now, yeah, it's all theoretical, and Anish played, it's not a novelty, but relatively not as popular as, let's say, bishop b5 or something. He played b3. So the idea, guys, if it basically kind of like stops bishop c4, because white always happy to change the pawn structure to bc4, you know, like extra pawn in the center, especially when black committed for a5. d5 was played, so far so good. e5, knight d5, knight e4, tempo, bishop b6. And now very interesting move was played. And again, you saw this, Srinivas, what's happening? Like, you see everything, and even some tournaments you attend. What's going on with you? I'm joking, of course. This is very good that you are so updated. So what to do here, right? Like, we have to take into consideration f5 idea, right? Black is about to play f5. Now, to be honest, in this case, I think like he analyzed this. He knew what can happen. Now, guys, what do you think? Like, what you would play here? G4. Ooh, stops f5. 100%. Very risky. Dakshin, very risky. But well, interesting suggestion, I would say. I know it's not g4. He didn't play g4, right? Yeah, well, I'm afraid after f5 we can collapse. So, and this is the idea that it's not that we, again, g4. Yeah, so everyone wants g4. Risky, guys. Like, I think like after f5 it's very risky. Yes, guys, try to be engaged. Because you have nothing to lose, right? You can only like get the right move, and then I will mention your name. Guys, g4, please dismiss g4, f5. I think it's super dangerous for us. So like that's one, guys. You want to surprise your opponent, but don't go crazy, right? Don't go crazy. Don't pay the price like yeah, g4 will surprise opponent, but I think like it's not exactly. He will start thinking about how to get a 5, and actually it works right away. Bishop d2, absolutely the main move. Bishop a3 also like interesting, right, guys? Now what he played, I mean, it's also like I feel like some kind of like trap in some sense. He played this. Now the idea, guys, what's the idea? Like he, first of all, why not bishop d2, bishop b2? He wants the bishop here. He wants the bishop here, and that's why, I mean, it looks like a bit strange, this move in the beginning, right? And also he's kind of like if f5, knight g3, like you know, controls, like it's a nice control here. So the center becomes vulnerable. I check this position, it's like queen d6, a4 seems like white is better. But Srinivas, it's like before, it's some other game he played before, it's not in this game. Now I feel like queen d2, like he played queen c8, strange move, and then also, like, guys, another idea came into the play. Like I'll just show you quickly. He played knight g3. Yeah, he had like recently several games in this Gioco Piano. So guys, now knight g3, f6 and d4. Very nice, very nice. So he provoked f6, now got d4. Yeah. Now, interesting what happened. And you know, guys, there is this very unusual thing about this queen d2. To be honest, like I have never seen like this kind of move in this type of position. But one of the ideas, but this position is very special. One of the ideas that actually here after ed4, besides the fact that we just capture cd4, like, you know, it's maybe unclear, but actually then black gets time. There is something else about this queen d2. So this is the hidden idea. Knight h5. I checked, it's lost for black. The threat is knight g7, queen h6. And plus also there are like light squares, you know, guys. Very, very, very surprising. And now also hard to defend. For instance, if you do queen d7, I still can take, you know, very strong, very strong. So he played queen d7. That's like, I guess, good move. Now bishop a3 was played, logical, rook f7. And now it's not very obvious, but I think like with this kind of like surprising play, queen d2, he got actually, I think like Russian grandmaster Vitugov, he realized that there is no ed4, and that's very problematic. And now natural move, like just by playing rook ad1, ed4, cd4 would give white very nice advantage here. Instead, Anish played rook e4, which looks optically like when you see this, it looks like a very nice move, right? Like preparing rook e1, strengthening the pawn. Rook should be lifted. Oh, everything is nice. The problem is there is one resource for black that actually he immediately took advantage. So this move appeared to be very unpleasant. So now there is this threat. So now somehow this is vulnerable. Like, you know, guys, very straight. So there is this kind of like somewhat a threat, right? And then bishop is pinned. And suddenly everything works really well. And you know, guys, after he played before, logical, but now the light square bishop, knight f4 is working. This is a great news. This is a great news for black. Bishop takes e6, knight e6. Now white's working because d5 is not winning material. Why it's not winning material? Because I think like rook d8 or even immediate knight g5. Guys, not winning material. Right, great news. So it actually, what is happening, he played rook a1. And now knight g5, another good move, knight g5, a5, guys. And you can see, so this position happened. So something interesting happened here. In general, black came back strong into the game. It's already equal position. Now, what normally people think about this position is like d5, right? d5 is the most natural move. Knight moves c4. It's unclear. It's unclear. It's double-edged, but black objectively escaped the dangerous position, right? So that's for sure. And now it's kind of surprising. I would say like Anish is not this kind of player to go for some craziness. He played really something very unusual. He played b5. He played b5. So what doesn't mean this move that like knight a7. Now there is an issue with the pawn on b5, right? And you cannot do c4. And h4. Crazy stuff. I mean, I think what happened here that Russian grandmaster like felt that you know he was obviously happy how the game developed, like he found this a4, came back into the game, like, and now he probably felt like Anish got crazy here, like what's going on, and he took on b5. Instead, I couldn't really figure out what he so this is really funny because it's like why he didn't play g4. I don't understand. And I was checking this. There are a couple of tries, but like black is everywhere fine. And objectively, if we check computer, if you check computer, like computer best choice, something crazy, like, you know, to go like this, knight b5, queen c2, knight b5, and then bishop c5. But this is, okay, that's like some kind of like compensation, maybe full compensation, but I don't think there is any, like, it's not dangerous for black, right? So it's kind of a compensation for equality, something, but really strange, right? I was trying to make sense of some other ideas, like for instance, to target the pawn on g4, but it seems like everywhere black has some tactics, like for instance, knight b5, and after bishop b4, maybe this is the line that he was worried about. After bishop b4, there is a nice solution. So of course, like if we lose g4, there could be an attack, right? But there is this nice move c5, sacrificing pawn and trading queens. Trading queens, and yeah, it seems like, yeah, it's nice. It's everywhere, like okay, and it looks safe. And instead, guys, if you think, but he probably thought that he's winning with black. Like I think that's the only explanation that I find. Take knight a3, I guess loses to g6 somehow. So he took here and took knight a3. But I mean, to be honest, like I am not even sure. I'm not even sure what happened. Maybe he thought about rook e5 only and he forgot about rook h4. Maybe this. But this is the point. Like he lost like a threat here, right? Like it was a very strange decision if you think about this. Why he allowed this free attack, right? And it was a very easy win here. Like he found only moves for black. All this, it's kind of like only defense, knight g5, rook g5, queen g5, and now under pressure, somehow knight c4, like it's just better for white, right? But still, like there was absolutely no point to take on h4. He played c5 and he easily lost, like queen g6, attacking the pawn, and now there is this thematic setup, which is crushing. It's somewhat a thematic idea, and that's it. Right now, guys, really quick, I want to show you without like asking you, or like couple of examples, you know, one of the players that if you want to see how they complicate the game, how they have these surprising moves, like one of the players, even though like recently he's not in great shape, Daniel Dubov. So he had, like, I just wanted to show you, like there is this game, this position, like, you know, Queen's Gambit declined, just normal position, positional fight, like everything, right? And now he suddenly, what he's playing queen c2, and he's playing against very solid German grandmaster, plays queen c2, bishop a6, normal move in these positions. And now, well, you know, cd5, queen side cuts. No, not Khmer, Svein, not Khmer. It's which year it is? It's not like super fresh game, not super fresh game. It's 2019, well, relatively fresh. So like this, and now what is here, right? Yes, I think this is the one at the end. Knight g5, guys, absolutely crazy, right? Like knight g5, now some people even, well, it's definitely preparation, guys, right? And yes, and the point is that, and then he h6 h4, and this knight stays on g5 basically, and now you have some so knight c6 a3, because knight before was a serious threat, you know, g6 h4, and the same h6 h4. And there is a brilliant game which got like probably the prize, one of the best games of the 2019, right? So here, from something absolutely like very positional, queen's gambit declined, everything, right? Like you go for this craziness. That's like, if you see Daniel Dubov games, he's quite often doing this. In many cases with like very deep opening preparation, of course, which in this case, it definitely was a preparation, right? Now, if you already, so Srinivas mentioned Khmer, so I wanted to say like the game that impressed me quite a bit recently, that he played against Aronian, right? He plays against Aronian, so it was very interesting idea. So they had this Caro-Kann, right? They had this Caro-Kann, and so the line which is trendy nowadays, exchange Slav, that I always felt like it's harmless, but now suddenly everyone is playing. And so he's not touching the bishop, right? Like everything is kind of like normal moves. And now he had a chance to play bishop f1. He had a chance to play bishop f1. Actually, it was working pretty good. I don't think he was worried about bishop f5, because bishop f5, I mean, targeting c2, because actually there is this tactical solution to play g4. And the point is, if, one second, guys, the point here, if bishop c2, queen d2, idea a3, black losing material, probably piece. And if knight c2, there is capture, and obviously the knight is trapped on a1, and white got a winning position here, like big advantage, right? So he could have played this. He could have played this. There was no issue with bishop f1. I don't think he did see that, but he decided to go like this. I don't know, guys, if anyone watched this game, it was very impressive. So he correctly evaluated this position, that allowing these pawns d4, d3, actually, it's not only there is a drawback that they are like weak in long run, but there is like rook c1, queen b3, there is initiative, guys. And I will add this game to the material of the lesson, so you will see it was perfectly played by Aronian. Very impressive game, and he won. Yeah. So, and now you see how this d3 pawn actually very nicely controls e4, and also opened like c file. You know, it's fantastic, right? And yeah, guys, I think we are good. So what is the like two conclusions, right? Like I have like more examples, but we time restricted. Look for, I think even when you prepare openings, like if you find the idea like Dubov played, right? Suddenly queenside castle knight g5, there is a good chance that somebody is unprepared because it's rare, right? So if you find this kind of ideas even in the openings, it might be very useful, especially from practical point of view, right? And so there is this thing like, you know, trying, when you think about this position, trying to find hidden resources, always ask your question, oh, maybe I have something interesting here, right? Of course, very important not to go crazy. Like, you know, every player, not every player, but there were like 4 or 5 players who mentioned g4 in Giri game, which was like not so good, right? So not to go to such crazy moves, right? Which really hurts your position. You know, even consider this type of moves when you have maybe situation when it's equally strong move, but potentially can throw your opponent away from like normal mindset, from normal positional game, right? So take into consideration this. There is a very well-known idea when you have a losing position. So instead of just losing without too much fight, you know, you just change the character, you just like go, you just do some crazy stuff, and then a little bit like force your opponent like to defend instead of just converting advantage and so on, right? Guys, so that's the point. There are like no rule, obviously. Oh, well, every position look for surprising move. It would be stupid advice, because you might just lose time and play some dubious moves. Like I don't want this, but just kind of like encourage you to look for hidden resources, encourage you for trying to maybe find some surprising lights in the openings, and that's the point, guys. So like maybe a few minutes if there is a time for a couple of questions.
Oh, right? Yes, it will be great, please. So we have few questions actually. First one is how to face unprepared opening in tournaments.
What does it mean? How I think there is a problem when you are unprepared, but if your opponent unprepared, so how to face like to face with your preparation. Right?
Yeah. Okay, I often tend to lose against lower rated players. Any suggestion I can improve on that front?
So you know, guys, we have this phrase, play not against the rating, play against the pieces, right? So don't pay attention to the rating. Just like, I know it's easier said than done. It's still somewhere in your mind, right? Oh, well, this guy is not so strong, I can take a risk and stuff like that, right? But you know, guys, it's of course just there is this advice to take him seriously, especially nowadays. You know, there are a lot of people underrated. You know, there are a lot of people underrated that actually their strength is much more higher than their rating. So, you know, just that's the only advice. Just like, don't pay attention to the rating, play like against like the best player ever, you know, like your most important game, and then that's it, right? So where you can consider something like this, let's say you have equal position that maybe you would offer draw to equally strong opponent or higher rated or something like this, but you know he's low rated, so you can still play on, right? Because you know the thing that at some point there is more probability that they commit mistakes, right? So you can play, you can push for equal positions, you know, you can let's say there is a choice like perpetual autoplay for win, you can play for win and stuff like that, right? But other than that, it's just normal game. Just don't pay attention to the rating, right?
Okay, I'm taking one-on-one classes with a nurture coach who is international master twice a week. Nurture training team is suggesting 3 classes per week along with training games with nurture playing partners, as a lot of my tournaments are coming. Do I need to take more lessons when a tournament is coming, or to play training games more with nurture playing partners?
Well, it's a hard question. It's like I don't know the situation. You like, you know, the thing is like, if you have advice from one source, like, you know, they maybe sign the coach and there is a plan, so just follow the plan, right? But whatever you are doing, let's say you have like 3 lessons with nurture training games, but it's also like you need some other stuff, right? You need some books and you know, solve tactics and work on openings. Don't forget about this. It's not like, you know, 3 lessons and 2 training games and that's good, that's all good, you know, it's enough, right? So there should be some kind of like self-study as well, right? So that's what's important, and every case is personal, so I cannot really I cannot really give you advice, right? Everything is personal, but I mean, nurture already doing quite a lot, so that's pretty good, you know, but don't forget about self-study as well.
Okay, and the last question for today, I'm 1600 and I want to gain 400 rating points in 12 months. What to do?
What to do? Well, there are many requirements, right? So it's very easy. Like, you need to play a lot of games and with a very positive score, right? So that's simple. Now, how you win the games, that's another question, right? But in order to get rating, you have to play games. In order to get 400 points, you need a lot of games. So work on chess hard, study a lot, and hopefully it will, and apply off the board. Hopefully it will work, and then you can get, right? But one of the requirements, it's like you have to play many games, right? Obviously, like, you cannot get like 400 points in one tournament. So that's very simple.
Oh, okay, that's for today. Thank you, Boris.
Thank you for moderating, Alexandra.
And also, I would like to thank all our users for joining, and I hope that everyone will stay safe and take care till next time.
Thank you, guys. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, enjoy.